Everybody, very happy to see you here, interested by our training. So the idea of today is really to present the relations that we would like within the project to develop with companies. Okay, so Switzerland has decided to commit to the net zero emission by 2050. This represents a very important endeavor, and for companies is really something that will make a change on its way of producing and using energy. So mainly the objective of that is then to reduce the CO2. And if you see a little bit the number at the bottom of this page, it's make a very important effort for the building sector. The project is to diminish the emission of CO2 by 80% by 2040 and completely by 2050. In the industrial sector, it's a little bit slower because it's a little bit more complicated, and so the objective is 50% by 240 and only 90% by 250. We will continue to emit a little bit of CO2, and for the transport, it's in between. The objective is to get to 57% by the year 40 and 100% by the years 50. So this represents a big effort and require competencies, and it's what we are. The problem we have working on. So for who is our training? Our training is mainly for engineers, but also for executive. And from Switzerland, working in the energy sector or being large energy consumers. So Switzerland, but also internationally. The program will be developing, presenting, transferring competencies related to the energy system design, the process also, the industrial processes. It exists today a lot of techniques, but now the idea is to share this knowledge and let people get the competence corresponding. So the curriculum we are proposing is really focused on high-level engineering skills. So that means understanding the technology, understanding the optimization, which is around. So it's why we are focusing on engineers and executives, because it will be necessary to be able to manipulate mathematical model and algorithm that are here for helping people for taking decisions. And another on the how we will do that, another very important point, that all the training is oriented on what we call project-oriented training. That means that not only having knowledge, additional knowledge, but also being trained to apply it in very real situations. So all the elements, the knowledge elements that will be introduced through videos, because the training will be at distance mainly, will be also applied within a project that will be realized on site in Sion in Energipolis. So we have four main thematics. The first one that will start in February is industry decarbonization. It will be managed by François Maréchal and Jason Page, two professors, one from EPFL, one from the Applied University, that are specialists of the domain. The second thematic will be, perhaps the name is not so clear, but the system modeling. In this module, we will talk about this social economic perspective, but also something is called the system analysis and the life cycle of life of products, which is also a very important parameter element of the energy transition. The third module will focus on urban systems. This idea here will be transfer competencies on the multi-criteria decisions, on the multi-energy urban systems configurations, a way of having a symbiosis between the production activity, and also the living, the urban aspect. And the last module, the last thematic, will be on the electric power production. It will be managed by Mario Paolone and Professor Sosan also. Again, each of those modules are managed each time by a professor from EPFL and one professor of the applied university. So this was for the thematic. When we look at the let's say the volume of study and the titles that will be gained after the effort, so we have 3 levels. We have something we call CAS, you can see in yellow. So it's called for Certificate of Advanced Studies. It represents the knowledge aspect of this initiative. So it represents the videos and the in-class projects that will be realized during the 3 weeks. So one of those modules represent a CAS. So you see 4 yellow box, CAS decarbonization, the CAS of system modeling, the CAS of urban system, and the CAS of a power system. If to this CAS, the participant will made a project in industry, which will be also, the CAS will be during 1 semester, and a project will be also during another semester. So a CAS plus a project in industry will make a DAS, a diploma of advanced study. And during his time in industry, the participant will realize a project related to the module which is concerned by the training, and write a report, a thesis on this, and present it and have an exam on it, and this will be a DAS. So you see 4 green boxes that represent of this diploma of advanced studies. The third possibility is to make a master of advanced studies. It's a blue frame. That means to follow and be successful in the 4 CAS and make a mass project in industry. To understand what will be the implication of this training in the life of the participant, we consider that it would correspond to an activity of 50%. So just taking the example of a DAS, we can understand that in the first part, participants are realizing the CAS, so the yellow box, around 300 hours of training, corresponding to 10 ECTS, for people who understand what is the ECTS credits. So they are half of the time they stay available for eventually the employment or other activity. And during the project in the industry, the idea is also the same. Also the possibility of an agreement between the company and the participant. Eventually, it's also possible to realize a project in a more condensed manner, but mainly it could be during half a year. It's around 3,000 hours approximately, and the rest of the time, people could be a trainee in the company or having other activity. So this explains what will be the implication for the learners and for the company of this continuing education. So we are imagining several schemes of interaction with between the program and the company. we can imagine that companies are interested in training their employees. So in fact, it will be an agreement between the participant and the company, and people will be trained by our program, and the agreement will be also on the payment of the participation to the education between the employee and the company. So the advantage for the company that it will retain an employee who gains specialized skills, especially in the sustainable energy systems. And for the participant is continuing receiving a salary, which is very necessary when you have a family and when you won't have meal, 3 meals per day. And for the program is also strengthening the ties with industry partners and ensure retention rate of the participant. So this is the first scheme. Participant is an employee of the company. The second scheme is that the participant will be a trainee of the company. So that means that people are candidates to the program, and that companies will receive a list of candidates and can, within this candidate, choose some candidates for being trainee in the company. We can imagine that this happens more easily when the company is interested to hire somebody on this type of situation. So for the company, the interest is the ability to handpick candidates and also, let's say, shorten or make work parallel with a human resource effort of contracting people with skills in energy sustainability. For the participants, the interest is receiving the financial support. Not all candidates has a priori the capacity for a training of, let's say, one year. It's also the opportunity to find an industry interested to this type of competencies. And for the program, it helps us to attract motivated participants and also to build a relation with the companies. We are also, I didn't have presented a slide because it's not clear yet, but we are also thinking to see if we could have a third scheme, if we could have engineering company hiring trainees, and those trainees could be making projects in, let's say, the third-party company. So just mentioning it by yet is not settled. So I didn't made a slide for that. So mainly two schemes for the relation between the company. Here you have the picture of the different person responsible of this program, and it illustrates what we have said before. We have professors from the EPFL and also professors from Applied University, mainly from Sion, but also the rest of the Swiss Romande. We have also Mrs. Calisesi, which is from the Energy Center of EPFL. So several persons with some level, from different level of expertise in continuing education and in energy systems for directing this program. Here you have a small summary of what we have. You see in the 3 columns the different level of certificate we mentioned. So the CAS, the DAS, and the MAS. You see with the clock the volume that it represents. So a CAS is a program that's spread over, let's say, 3 months or 4 months for a semester, a university semester. A DAS is over 1 year, and the completion of a MAS will be something as 2 years and 2 years and a half. The first CAS is starting in February next year. It will be the CAS of decarbonization of industrial processes. The same thing for the DAS, because if you are interested in the DAS, you have to perform your CAS, and after continuing with a training period in a company. And you can have information. There are online and on-site training. So this is the fourth row in this table. As I mentioned before, there are something as 80 hours of video per module that will be available. So people will study or work on this material online, and 3 weeks for each of the modules they will spend on Sion in Energy Police. These 3 weeks are not consecutive. They are distributed over the semester. The cost of this training, so is 10,000 Swiss francs for the CAS, is 20,000 Swiss francs for the DAS, and it's 40,000 Swiss francs for the MAS. If somebody is interested by several CAS, the price will be also coherent with that. That if you decided to go CAS by CAS, or you just decided to go directly for MAS, the amount of money that you have to invest will be the same. Just one additional thing, the cost for the DAS in industry could perhaps be surprising. So first thing, this 20,000 Swiss francs is in which you have the 10,000 Swiss francs for the CAS, which is considered. So it's just one is just a double of the price of the other, and it's justified by the fact that EPFL or applied university professors will be following the candidates all along of the training in the company. So you can be a participant or you can be a participant candidate or company. Will be very happy to talk with you, to explain things more in detail and look at your very specific situations. So don't hesitate to contact us. Finally, I would like to finish my presentation announcing the next webinar. We would like to present the competences that are related to the energy transition. What do we need? What is the probable gap of the standard company or the standard engineers? The presenters will be our industrial partners, and it will be planned in mid-October. The precise date is not yet announced. So now it's the moment for discussion. I will be very happy to answer to your questions and also hear about your comments. You are perhaps a candidate. I'm interested by your opinion and your interest, or you are eventually representing a company. We are also interested to understand how you see this project, how do you understand, how you see possible that you could accept trainees or train people of your company. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. And now let's open the floor to the questions.
Thank you, Jean-Marie. I'm just stopping.